Who's there? That isn't the best move.
Hello everyone, my name is Ryan.
I'm Harrison.
Welcome to Hikaru No Go Labs, a series all about Hikaru No Go created by your Go experts, us. This series will discuss all sorts of Go topics from the games, life as an ensei, to Go psychology. And if you haven't already, why you should try out a game of Go.
In our first video, we bring you our top 3 favorite moments in Hikaru No Go. Each moment relates an actual professional game to a big change in Hikaru's Go career. We will revisit each moment, share our sentiment, and analyze the game from an insider's perspective.
Warning, this video contains spoilers. If you haven't watched Hikaru No Go, go watch it. You'll thank us later. In third place, we have a game between the two best players in the universe of Hikaru No Go.
Yeah, at this time this was a very special game because online Go wasn't as widespread, and it was rare to see two of the top players playing. And this game was probably the biggest game in Hikaru No Go because everyone in the world was watching, in Japan at least. Actually, there was an American guy watching as well. He was drinking coffee or something. But diving right into the game, we have two special moves, right?
Right. So we picked two very highlights of the comics and anime, and what you see on the board is the first one, where Sai plays a move that surprises everyone, and it's described as a very, very good move. Now, we don't actually think so, and you can see from the percentages here that Lila Zero wants to play in the upper left because that is the biggest endgame on the board right now. And I think this might be something that many players, like it's quite a common mistake because I think players seem to focus more in the center, especially near the later game, while the biggest endgames could be on the sides and corners.
Yeah, and you definitely have to teach these viewers about this because my end game is not the best, and in fact, I would probably play where Sai plays. But why is the top left better in terms of territory than the middle one? The middle one is Sentei, right?
The middle move is not necessarily Sentei, right? Since Black might not have to respond, and in the upper left, I think that is a very classical big move. So if you just want a selection for a big end game, I think blocking there for a similar shape, it will give you a big end game. So it's one of the things that you remember. Yep. This middle, though, I think the biggest point about this is that White doesn't make any territory here. White only reduces Black's territory. So chances are it might not be the biggest move on the board.
And the second move we have here is actually right after the game ends, where Toyakoyo resigns. And when Hikaru was reviewing the game, he found a move that if Toyakoyo has played this, he would have won instead. And this move is actually in the end game here. And
almost at the very end.
Ryan, you can go over this because I don't really understand it, but it was.
Yeah, it took me a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's this placement move. So in the game, you can see Black played this, that move, and which was relatively slow, which let White take the next endgame. Now, why should Black play that placement move? So if you're good at life and death, you probably see that actually that placement move doesn't actually work. Because White can still block and capture the corner. So the reason why that is a big move right now is because after Black plays it, in order for White to capture the corner, White won't not be able to wedge and cut off. So that move that Black played in the game would not be necessary. So that is the main reason why Black should play there. So it threatens to make the corner into a double alive. Maybe we should show why it's not double alive.
Okay.
So after white blocks on the outside, black goes in, but white can still Atari on the outside somewhere, and then when black reduces, white can still Atari on the other side. So this is like a squashing push because black can't connect in the corner. So white still captures it, but black will get a sente move on the third line there, which would protect that cut, which is why black played that Tiger's Mouth in the game, which was relatively slow because black can automatically get this move anyway if black played this placement move, which is why this would have been a winning move for black.
Yeah. A winning move at such a late part in the game is quite rare. It's
right. That's a good point, right?
And then this mistake,
how close these guys were, doesn't it?
Yeah. This move alone, it costed black the game, pretty much. I mean, looking at the percentage, it's demolished.
Right, it's like minus 40.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, but it's not that big, right? It's probably like a few points.
Not true.
At most. Yeah. So after this, Sai won the game against Toya Koyo.
Where Toya Koyo could have won had he played the
Right.
the corner move, but
Which is pretty much Sai's purpose, really, for coming into this world, going into Shisaku and then Hikaru. So I think after this game and winning, after facing Toya Koyo in such a serious game and winning against him, I think to me fulfills that.
exactly. And in our number 2 spot would be the game between Ochi and Hikaru. This game is, to me, it's one of my favorite because it's the moment where you win or you go home. It's one of those high-pressure scenarios for Hikaru and also for a lot of tournaments I've been in. Just mounting pressure. It's actually a huge disadvantage to the person who is in a higher pressure. Have you been in a situation like that before?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when the pressure is on, it's very hard to play at your actual strength, right? You're just thinking about so many other things than go. And when that happens, you know, it's just so hard to focus. And at this point, I think, yeah, I mean, Hikaru needs to win this game, or else he's going to have to play Isumi again. But he won against Isumi with that mistake, so he would feel very bad about playing him in the final. So basically, as you said, it's either Hikaru wins or he goes home. And on the other hand, Ochi also really wanted to win this game, right?
Yep. He needs to prove himself. He's been practicing against Akira for such a long time. This is the game to prove his real strength.
Right, and I think he, in the anime he said that if he won, Toya would make Ochi won, and Toya would make Ochi his rival.
Yeah.
So
well, we don't really know what's so good about having a rival, but
yeah, exactly. But it also, like in the, I think one moment that really strikes to me and is that scene where when they just start the game. As you know, Hikaru is Sai sitting behind his back. But in this game, and for one, I think this is the only time where we see a character other than Hikaru having someone sit behind him, and which is Ochi. He has Toya, like a spirit of Toya, just like sitting behind him in his support. So he really wants to win.
So let's dive right into our favorite moments in the game itself.
Right. So this game was between Honembo Shisaku against Ibisawa Kenzo. So this game was played in 1859, and this moment was a big moment. So after Ochi played this turn that you see on the board now, Hikaru played a very slow move. So Hikaru played this capture, and I think, I mean, normally we wouldn't really play this move because capturing one stone is only 2 points, right? And I think the main reason why this is slow is because actually white has a weak group on the right side, which is where Leela Zero really wants to play right now. And so white instead should play at the jump to protect that group, which also puts some pressure on the black's 2 stones, and that would be more urgent than the move that white played in the game. So after this, Ochi took the lead, and now Hikaru is in a sweaty position, as the anime says. So now let's take a look at the second really interesting scene that we picked for you guys, which is this, I guess you can call it an extension. But this is kind of interesting how black protects this shape using an extension, which is kind of interesting. Definitely not a choice I would play. But looking at Leela Zero, after some Sente moves, Leela Zero would actually play one above the move that black played here. So, I mean, is there really that big of a difference? Maybe not. So perhaps this is a good move. But after this move, though, white played 2 very good moves, I think. The first is this. As you can see, this is the top recommended move from Leela Zero. And black needs to protect that cut to help that group. And then after this exchange, white is able to play the knight's move and really get into black's territory on the upper side.
This move seems like a very complicated move, but in fact it's not. It's a normal move to decrease territory. Would you say this is a special move by white, as the manga portrayed?
Yeah, I think you're right. It's not really special. I mean, it's probably a move that we would think about in our normal intuition. But I think, yeah, this move though is necessary though, even though it's not super flashy.
Yeah.
But this is really what increases white's lead, because now white would decrease all of black's territory on the upper side, which is the last place really where black can make territory.
And the funny thing during the anime was that Ochi thought that Hikaru has a very very good strategy behind this move. So he wanted to see what he was planning, what Hikaru was really planning. And I mean, you can say that this move actually has some hidden meanings. I mean, there's a lot of ajis on the right corner, so there might be some. How would you say?
I think he's thinking too much. Yeah, I think as you said, in the when you have so much pressure, I think Ochi is thinking too much, because really white is just reducing the upper territory.
Maybe, yeah. So maybe that's a little.
Mm-hmm. So in this game, it's actually quite close. But the reason why Leela's winning percentage is relatively lopsided is actually because in Shusaku's time, obviously this was a no-komi game, so it was actually a relatively close game. So white is normally not winning by this much. Yeah. So very nice moves by Hikaru to come back, I think, even though after playing a very slow move there.
So after this game, which some can say the most important game in Hikaru's career, he became pro.
A very life-changing moment, I think. I mean, after Sai got him interested in this game, I think that's really all he wanted, right? All he wanted to do is become pro and follow Toya's steps, and eventually catch up and overcome Akira Toya.
And this tournament took place for a good 2-3 months, right? So all those games really came down to just this one game.
Exactly. Which he won, and now he's among the ranks of pros.
Yeah.
8の5。
8のそこか。
これは最善の一手ではない。最強の
一手でもない。僕がどう打ってくるか試している一手だ。僕の力量を測っている。遥かな高みから。
And our number one top moment in all of Hikaru No Go is from the first game that Hikaru ever played with Sai. And this is the moment that we see on, and we brought up the Lizzie. So Harrison, do you want to do the honors? And fifth line placement move.
This came as a huge shocker to Akira because it seemed like a move that a higher level player would play to a lower rank player in a handicap game, because you don't really know what to do in this situation. And if you ask me right now, Ryan, I actually don't know how to respond to moves like this.
Exactly, it's kind of like those moves that are out of the ordinary. So to catch the lower ranked players off guard when you're kind of like when you're playing a handicap game. And I think we were both really surprised when we looked at Leela, right? Because this was actually among the top three choices that Lizzie had, or sorry, that Leela Zero has. Like if you go one move back, you can see that. For some reason we can't see the percentage of this very move, but after we play the next move, we can see Black is around 56 with the best move, but after playing this move, Black is around 55. So it's still one of the best moves. So that was also very surprising that on top of this nostalgic moment, it's actually one of the best moves. So before I forgot to mention that this game was an actual game that Honimbo Shusaku played, and it was actually a game in his prime.
Looking at games like this, you actually think about what you would play as Black when it comes to a scenario like this. And you had a very interesting take about how situations like this you don't really know where to play.
Right, and I think like when White has this there's a very big open space on the upper left part of the board, and White doesn't have total control, but there's a rough control. And Black has a lot of territory. And now in this type of game, it's often very difficult. I think many players should share what I feel about this kind of game, is that it's really difficult to find, what do I do? Do I deal with that Tanuki in the center? Should I attach to the corner, or where should I reduce from? So I think I think I like to discuss what should you think about. And so Harrison mentioned that he wanted to play this attachment, which is actually a very kind of modern move, right?
Well, it doesn't seem too good. I mean, I dropped a good 9%. But
yeah, I mean, I think this would be one of my moves that I would consider as well. I think it's more important to actually concentrate on more specific details. So even though it looks like the board is very empty, I think there are three big locations here. One is the upper side. So how much White can make there will really decide, how much territory. Because in the center, in the Tanuki there, still has a lot of life. Like, it's not completely dead. There's that Ko that Black can fight. So I think the top side is very important. The second thing is, can Black settle the Tanuki? So jumping out from the Tanuki might be also a possibility. It might not be a good possibility. And then I think the last thing is this one space jump that White played. So Black might think about either wedging or attaching on to this shoulder hit, but I guess that doesn't seem like a good move either. Maybe wedging is better. Yeah, I think wedging would be okay, according to Leela at least.
Well, it's not too good, but yeah, like you said, this is a hard place for one to decide where to play. So do you think the actual move deserves such reaction by Akira? Was it a deserved reaction, or was it a over exaggeration?
Definitely. I mean, imagine you going into a Go salon and you playing the strongest kid there, who is pretty much a pro, and a kid that holds their stones like a beginner would play a move like this. I mean, I mean, yeah, I would say if I were Akira, I would be like really mad. Maybe more anger from me rather than surprise. Like you're such a strong player. Why are you toying with me?
Yeah.
I think that was my reaction.
True. He actually responded with this move, which is actually a very good move.
As well, right? But again, this was a game between two Nimbos.
True.
Oh, but keep in mind, guys, that these percentages are with Komi. So at the time, Black had no Komi. So we can see, like, actually at this point, Black is ahead by much more than it shows. So apart from like how good this move is, I think the part of the reason why we chose this as our very top moment is really how, you know, most of us get introduced to this manga or anime, and you know, I think it's just so like it's just such a big moment, you know, like you're just starting out to see if you like it or not, and then this moment just really captures your attention. At least for me, that's how I take that moment to be.
Yeah.
So it's definitely earned its place in my memories when I was, you know, in my early days of learning Go.
These are just our favorite moments. Yours could be completely different. Let us know what your favorite moments are.
And if you have a specific moment or scene or topic in Hikaru No Go that you would like us to talk about, feel free to leave it in the comments. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a slightly different format from our usual videos. If you did, drop a like, leave a comment. It really helps out the channel. My name is Ryan.
I'm Harrison.
And we'll see you next time.
Thank you.